start. Welcome to the fifth session of the Open Buildings Designer live series. I'm Meenakshi, your host for today's session. For the benefit of those who are joining us for the first time, let me introduce Open Buildings Designer. Open Buildings Designer is a complete design and BIM tool for architectural, structural, mechanical, plumbing, and electrical design. We also refer to it as OBD. You can download your 21-day free trial by scanning the QR code in the top right corner of this window. There will be tips and tricks, user case studies along with it to ensure you gain the most during this 21-day trial period. So that's me. I'm the sales engineer for Open Buildings Designer. I'm based out of Singapore and I've worked in the AEC industry for more than a decade. Joining me here is our main presenter, Kasia. She's based out of Poland, and we have a backup presenter, Ramau, based out of London. Kasia, I'll let you introduce yourself to the audience.
Hello everyone, I'm Kasia. I'm based in Kraków in Poland and I'm an architect, and I'm here with Bentley for 2 years, more than 2 years now, working as a building application engineer, taking care of Open Buildings Designer.
Thanks. Ramau, do you want to introduce yourself?
Thanks, Meenakshi. Good morning, everyone. As Meenakshi said, I'm based in London. My name is Ramau. I'm also an application engineer for OpenBuildings Designer. I joined a little bit later than Kasia, so yes, it's been just a little over 2 years. And we take care of open buildings for users in the UK and Latin America and Spanish-speaking countries in general.
Great, thanks. Ramau will also be able to help us answer some of the questions or comments posted over LinkedIn today. So please go ahead and put in your questions, if any, in the comments section. And here are also our email IDs. Feel free to email us should you have any questions. Moving on. You see a QR code on the top right corner of the window. In case you have trouble scanning the smaller QR code, here's a larger one. Scan to download your free trial. Like I mentioned, you will receive tips and tricks and user case studies in your inbox so you can get started and use the software most efficiently. Also, if you're attending this session over LinkedIn Live, do know that the resolution depends on the bandwidth and quality of our internet connection. So some tips: connecting via the Ethernet cable gives you the best quality of the connection. Do close down any applications that use up too much of your bandwidth. The best resolution is achieved when you're not multitasking while watching the sessions. So just in case you don't have a good internet connection, the recording will be posted on our YouTube channel. Let me show you where we have the rest of our recordings here. Our previous 4 sessions are available on the Open Buildings Designer YouTube channel, where we demonstrated creating a BIM model from scratch, introduced the basics of object-based modeling tools, extracting schedules and reporting from the BIM tool, and also demonstrated the use of generative components. That's the link for the YouTube channel, and Ramau could also post it in the comments. So do take a look at the previous sessions as well. This is what Kasia will cover in today's session. Let's touch upon the need to comply with company and project standards and to standardize our drawings and model. Kasia will demonstrate how to create and adjust the standards in Open Buildings Designer. She will also show how to control the standards and use verification tools to check the compliance. So let's get started. Kasia, let me just start by asking you, what do you mean by company and project standards, and why do we really need them in the architectural practice?
Yeah, so when we want to talk about project standards in general, it really is a very wide topic. So we can mean a variety of aspects, starting from what kind of standards. So we can have different type of standards, standards for the information, so different requirements for what kind of data we should provide to, for example, our client, manufacturer, and drawing standards like drawing conformity, drawing symbology conformity, CAD conventions, um, any type of standards, any type of requirements for our drawings, our schedules, our data, everything that we prepare together with our project documentation. So this is the first thing, that we have different types of standards themselves. Then we can have those requirements applied by different institutions. So our office can be the first level of that. So we have standards applied by our company, and then we have different sectors requirements. We have our clients' requirements, standards, national standards. So different, again, different aspects, and um, why we need them. So of course, if there are requirements, we need to meet them. So if we are able to meet them with our program, we can just save our time and save loads of work, because we won't have to rework it later, because unless we meet it, we cannot deliver the project, and we cannot have the workflow, the process finished. So with meeting the standards, we avoid delays, we can meet our deadlines, and we can simply successfully accomplish our project workflow. And of course, we can do it with OpenBuildings Designer. It also covers different aspects of this standard topic in general, because we can create the standards, we can adjust our project, different drawing settings, information settings, and so on. But we can also verify if the standards are correct, if we set everything in a correct way, and we have different tools for all those aspects as well.
Okay, great. So, could you walk us through creating some of the most commonly required standards?
Sure. So let me show it. Sorry, with the example of
Do you
one
want
of
me
the
to share
projects.
your screen?
Yes, please.
Okay, yeah, here you go.
Okay, we can see it now.
Okay.
So you probably know this building. You have it installed together with as a default work set in Open Buildings. So I will use this one to show some ways to create and create drawing, and not only drawing standards. Let me start with drawing standards. So I can, what I can do, I can create new file in my standards folder that will control certain elements of the drawing. So in this case, I can, for example, prepare a text or dimension styles for my drawing. So what I can do, I can create a new file in my standards workset. So every workset has those default folders prepared, and always, apart from the supplement folder, in this template workset that I mentioned, we have all those folders. And in the standards folder, in DGN lib folder, I can create a new file that will control the text and dimension style. So the name is text theme styles. You can give a personalized name. So let me call it project standards, or the short demo. And then I need to add the right format, which is DGN lib. It comes from our standard DGN format, but the library, the lib end, applies the library function to this file. So when I save it, it opens this new file for me, and here's where I can start the customization of my data, of my standards. I can prepare my own style for the text. So here in the drawing section, we have the text section on the ribbon bar. And when I hit this small button for the management of text styles, I get this dialog box. And here is where I can create my own style. So I will do it through copying an existing file, an existing text style, and I can call it new text style, new text style one, because I will create also a new one, another one, maybe a smaller one like this second one. So again, I will copy it, call it textile, view textile 2. And now I can, when I renamed and adjusted the name for my need, I can now start with the settings. So you can see that just like for other drawing elements, we have here a lot of settings, so I can decide about the font I want to use. And let me just modify it to anything else just to see the difference later. So let's apply Century Gothic. I can adjust the justification, I can make it bold, I can make it underlined, I can change the height, I can add some spacing settings. So it is just an example of what we can do. Let me apply background, for example, just to see how that it's this one later. And yeah, we can also have this background border applied. So then I can apply and adjust the second one. And again, I will just let me also change it to the Century Gothic, but it will be in italics. And yeah, let me apply another background. It's a curious textile, but it's just to show that it can be created as we prefer. So I will save the settings. I will close this dialog box. Yes, I want to save the changes. And before I close, before I move to my file back, I will just show that we can do the same with also the dimensions, dimension style. So again, if I open this manager for the text styles, for the dimension styles, I can do just the same. I can copy an existing style, I can rename it and then adjust all the settings according to what I need, the geometry, the units, the text, symbology, adding arrows or other type of symbology. But for now, I'll just stay with the text. And I will just restart OpenBuildings. And the same thing I can do with also detailing symbol styles and any other type of the drawing symbology, drawing standards. Same thing for the drawing templates and other elements. Okay, so the file is opening. I am going back to my floor 1 model. And I will quickly create drawing model for this building. So I can then place the new text on my ready drawing. Okay, so in the drawing production tab in OpenBuildings Building Design mode workflow, I can select now the tool for the floor plan. You just quickly select the right floor and drawing template white range view range for this drawing. I will just click anywhere in one of the views, and I will have my dialog box for the drawing creation open. So let me call it floor 1 plan, and I'll create new files for one for drawing model and one for the sheet model. I will create them in new files. So let me call it floor 1 drawing. Okay. And similar here, floor 1 sheet model. I will click OK. The drawing was created, and with the navigation mark, I can move there quickly. Just give it a few seconds more. Okay, so now with the navigation marker, I can quickly go there to the drawing model. And you can see the ready drawing. That also this view is controlled by another DGN library files that they control the drawing templates for our work set. So in this case, it's this black and white view. And I can now add some other elements. I can place text and see that between other styles, there's also there are also my new text styles added. So for all the work set, for all the files, I will be able to use this standard for the text. So see new title style and just see how it looks. You can see that it's exactly what I created. And the other one, so I can edit here, or the same I could do with the text styles for other parts of the drawings, for those descriptions here, or I could add some annotations. And the same, if I created a new dimension style, it would appear in the list here as well. And I can also customize some drawing symbology, so like the bubbles for the with the number of the drawing. You can also see it then in the sheet model for this project. So I just quickly move there. So also the drawing bubbles, everything can be customized as well. Also the border, the drawing sheet itself can be customized, and like that we can meet the standards applied by company, client, or sector, whatever we need. So I will now go back to the drawing again, and I will show different method of adjusting the settings in our project. So drawing symbology is really important. So again, another way of controlling that. So you can see that here I have this CMU wall around the staircase. It is with this thickness of the line, and it is with the crosshatch. And some other walls are, there is a brick cladding here. You can see that there is this symbology. So I can control it with, first I will select the match part. I will select this element, and I can open the family and part editor. And here is where I can control the drawing symbology of the families and parts elements in my drawing. So the element that I selected, the part that I selected, so the CMU wall with the fire rating of 2 hours is now selected, and I can see if I go in this parts view tab to different mode to drawing symbology, I can now control the attributes of these parts in section view, and farther in the front and rear view. So I can control the color of the lines, I can decide what style it is, I can decide what weight of the line thickness it is. So let me go back to the section view. So here, for example, you can see that all these brick, CMU, and concrete walls have the thickness of 3, the line thickness of 3. So I can, just to see how the tool works, I can select now with the shift button all those walls, and I can change them all by 1 to, for example, 4. Or let's make it even bigger to see the difference in the drawing. So once I have it modified, I can commit the changes here, and then in the drawing production tab, I can reload my drawing in this settings section, and you will be able to see the difference in the line thickness. So it's much thicker now. I think you can see it. And still we have this crosshatch. So apart from the tools for line control, we also have the cut patterns section here. So let me move there. And still having my parts selected. I will maybe again just look at only the CMU one. Again, I have different settings. I can apply just a simple fill for this wall. I can apply pattern. I can decide about the type of this pattern, about the color, and then about the style of the line and the angles. I can apply pattern cell, so I can use any cell for that we have in our library to fill the wall as the symbology. So I will just maybe change one of those elements. So maybe instead of cross-hatching for a moment, I will apply patterning or maybe linear hatching. And let's just see, move it a bit. Again, I will just commit the changes and then reload the model. And I can see that the cross-hatching disappeared. We now have this line hatching. And of course, we can change it also to patterning, or we can just apply a simple fill. To do that, we just need to toggle. So it's another example how to do it. I've just mentioned that for patterns, we need to take care that in reference presentation dialog, we have this apply pattern toggle switched on. And the same for the center lines, because we can also control the center line symbology, everything. We can have a look here, center line symbology as well for the walls, so we can decide about different types of this symbology. So it's another example. Of course, it's just showing how that there are many tools that we can use to adjust standards. So I will not just show it in detail, but just in general. So this was again for the drawings. I will go back to the model. So we have family parts editor. We have the library files in our standards folder. We can save the settings at different levels. So depending if you want to have it only for one project or for all your projects, depending how you store your projects, they can be the standards can be saved at different levels. So this was about the drawing standards. So now I can mention different type of standards. So if I go to data and reporting tab, I can now focus on information data information standards. So we can understand it in a way that, for example, I have a standard for providing certain type of data to client or manufacturer, so I can prepare that data with the tool schedule. I have some default schedules here prepared. So for example, for the door, I have just a general door schedule. We have here really a lot of data prepared, and for example, I might need only certain information for a certain delivery stage. So I can prepare a schedule for myself to help me in preparing that requirement, to meet this requirement. So I can prepare a new schedule, for example, for, let's say, this door. So I will just prepare a new schedule for myself. So, for example, door info, say stage 1. And I can save it at different levels. I will save it at the workset level. and I will prepare a new name for that. So again, store stage 1 schedule, and I can save it. And then I can uh, select the correct catalog type, which specifies the element I need, the building element I need. So it is door. And then, of course, it can be more elements than just that. And then I will decide what kind of properties I want for this element to have in my schedule. So now I will just decide it myself, but when we have a certain requirement, I will just adjust the info accordingly. So for example, here, let's assume that I need to provide the name of the manufacturer, maybe and type ID, and yeah, maybe something more like the type of finish, depends on what requirement we have. And with this, let's just maybe stop here. I can see a new schedule and how it can help me. It shows me what data I'm missing. So for now, none of the doors has the finish specified in my project, and none of them has the manufacturer name. So like this, I can see what data I'm missing. I can provide it here. I can control it during my project, because this schedule helps me do it. So this would be for the information requirements. And I think that for the creation of the standards, we can maybe stop here. It's just to show that there are different tools that we can use in different ways and meet the standards that are um, required from us.
Okay. Okay. That was helpful. So could you walk us now through like how do we implement these standards and how can we verify if these are applied correctly, like for the compliance?
Sure. So for implementing, we of course we implement them together with creating the standards, inserting the elements and modifying it, just as I showed. And what can help us verify all those standards, again, we have different tools for that, that are prepared for the verification of the standards, like standards checker that I will show you in a moment. But also some other less maybe typical tools for that, that we can also use for the verification of this data. So I can maybe start with this standards checker tool. So if I just search in this search box, I can see the standard checker dialog. And this is exactly a tool that it was created to check if we meet the standards we prepared, and we can then compare the file we're working on and see if we really meet those standards, and we will get a ready report from this check, and we will be aware of any differences in the standards. So first we need to, in the configuration of the standards checker, we can decide what file we consider our standards file, and then we can prepare it for the check. We can decide what kind of elements we want to check. So here I just selected the textiles, and then I can prepare a new report for that. Say report number 4, and I can decide if I want to show all the problems, or if I want to skip the ignored problems because they are just not really important, valid for my project. So I can just hit OK, and I can see the result of the report. I can see that the properties of the text style example drawing notes don't match those of the standard text style. So I can see the current value and I can see the standard value of the text style specified, and I can then fix this problem or I can just skip it, depending on what I need. So of course here is just this one um, difference in the project, but it's because we don't really have a lot of text elements here, and in other our real projects we would have really a lot of we could have a lot of mismatches in the standards. So this was one of the tools, and so I decided to skip it. So I have just one problem found and zero problems fixed because I decided not to. And I have it this file saved in my workset folder, so I can always review it or and find it later as well. So this was the first tool for the verification. Another tool for verification of the correct standards matching themselves, the information being correct and meeting the standards, can be verified part tools. So I like searching for the tools I want in the search field, but I can also show how to uh, achieve how to find it in the file in the backstage mode here. So if I go to the utilities and part utilities, I have the first tool is verify parts. So if I select it, I have the verify part and family dialog open, and here's where I can see um, the report for my all the family and part elements that I have in my project. And if any one of them was red, it would mean that it's not a valid uh, part, it's not a valid element. It would mean that my work set, my project doesn't, the application doesn't understand what type of part it is. In my case, everything is correct. Every part has correct information applied to that, but this other situation we could have, for example, in for example, if I had an object that I copied from other project, and I would just simply paste it in this project, and before probably I had customized it, and the program could probably have problems with understanding what type of information it is. So it would just signal that there is something invalid in this part. So we can always decide if you want to show just invalid parts, and if I had anything red, I would show it here. And this can check all the files with their references, not just the active file in here. And that was the second tool for the verification of the standards. So another one can be display styles. So you probably know display styles because it's this the tool we use to change the symbology of our model that we currently see. So for example, now I can see it with the materials, zoom in, with the materials applied, with the shadows, with the materials that it has, but I can change it to different types, and I can also just apply it to the wireframe. And what I can use it for regarding standards, I can for example, apply now the wall fire rating uh, display style, and again I will click to confirm, and you can see that every wall, let's just have a look at the settings of this display style. So what I can see here is that some walls are blue and some walls are red, and this means that the red walls, the red color was applied to walls that have resistance fire rating of 2 hours, and the blue color shows the 1 hour fire rating. So that's what was decided for this display style. We can see it here, that we apply certain conditions and actions to display rules as display rules for the display styles. In this case, as I mentioned, we set the different fire ratings to different colors, and we could do the same with other elements and see if there is any uh, mismatching in the information. So I, of course, when I design a building, I need to make sure everything is correctly designed, also regarding the fire resistance. So I would, I could apply the property and information to every element, also like doors and windows, and then I would know if I see it graphically, like here in my model, I can much quicker see if for example, this lift door, elevator door is in different color than the red, and then of course our fire rating requirement is not met. So this is how we can check it, and it's much faster than if we had to open the properties of each element and see what kind of property we applied, and if we prepared it correctly in the schedules and every delivery documentation for the project. So here we can check it much faster in a graphical way. And it's just an example of the fire rating, but we can just apply a different rule to according to our needs and control other aspects easily in the same way. So I think that's all for the verification tools as well. Of course, we can think about other tools in a less standard way as well. So I showed the standard elements for the verification of the tools, like standards checker or verify parts for the standards verification, but also this display rules way, which is maybe a little bit less obvious. And also the schedule tool I showed before is also a great way to control if all the standards are met, I think. And I think it's also worth mentioning that across all Bentley products, we have open series of applications. You maybe know or not that everywhere we have the same DGN format for the working files for the models. So it's the same file across different applications, and moreover, it's with us for I think 20 years now, and it also helps us standardize the project, because we can control elements in a similar way for a long time. We don't have to worry about changing information together with new updates and some format changes, for example. We can do we can still work on the same file and keep the same standards for more time, and also do it across the application. So it keeps a similar type of data. It lets us control the objects and the attributes, keep it the same. in our projects, and it's still for long time, and we just keep it even if we move forward with improvements in the application, the DGN format stays the same. So I think it's worth mentioning. So I think we can stop it here. So if there are any questions, we can start. We can try answer
Okay.
them.
Let me just uh, let me just share the other content before we take if there are any questions. So, like as posted by Ramao and Eduardo in the comments, we do have a lot of other um, learning content other than the YouTube live series. We have very focused webinars, as you can see some of the topics here. They're very focused, like station design, water reclamation plant design, catalog creation, pro steel. So you can just go through this. We also have the impact of computational design, which is for our generative components. Do look at the learning content available, and of course the live series there. And we have our YouTube channel, which is by it's the playlists are sorted by the discipline. So do take a look at those. And moving on, give me a second. We are happy to take any questions. If you have any questions, do post it in the comments section, and or you can also email us later. These are our email IDs. Please feel free to email us later. Do look at the comments posted by Ramao, and Eduardo's posted the link for the download trial right there. You can just download using that trial. It's a 21-day trial, and I hope it helps you in your learning journey. There are no questions right now, Kashia, but maybe we will get emails later. Wait. Oh, yes, there's a question. Okay, I'm going to put that on screen, Kashia, for you. What about MEP services coordination in the building? I would think this is something to do with clash detection. Do you want to take the question, Kashia?
Yeah, if we mean the clash detect, if we mean the MEPS you suggested, yeah, also clash detection could be a good idea for that. Of course, it depends on what exactly you mean, so we can then move forward with this topic by email if you have a specific situation in your mind. But for example, we have clash detection, which lets us control if any MEP or other elements are clashing into each other, so we can just control if everything is correct in our model, if there are no collisions between the disciplines or between the elements in the same discipline. So this is one of the tools, one of the ideas, and for others, yeah, depending. Also other elements that other aspects of control of those tools of the standards I mentioned also would apply in this for this discipline. So we can apply the same way we can check this drawing standards. In the end, we can see in the display styles, we can apply some display rules for that. We can check it. So depends on, and we can customize some elements in the DGN libraries as well as mentioned before. So if there is something more specific, in some specific situation, we can also hear about it, and I will try answer that as well.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
not an MEP specialist, also not a MEP specialist in Open Buildings Designer, so we can also try
yeah. So
seeing a
actually,
situation
we
like that.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Kashia. So we do have a webinar around the same time tomorrow, Saeed. I'm not sure which country you are in, but it's at 2 p.m. Singapore time. We do have a webinar tomorrow on clash detection. We will be showing clash detection and bill of quantities extraction in Open Buildings Designer and Open Plant Modeler. So do attend, and I will put in the post on our events page tomorrow. So you can take a look at that. So that will be our specialized, focused webinar. I hope that helps. We don't have any other questions. So, um, do try our the software, and we are happy to help you with any questions, any technical issues you do have while trying the software. And we do have our sixth session that is on the 10th of November, 3 p.m. Singapore time. I just wanted to say that about 2 years ago, our the software Open Buildings Designer was actually called EcoSim before that. So about 2 years ago, EcoSim was rebranded as Open Buildings Designer, implying the open BIM format that Bentley system supports. So we'll be talking about the different file formats in the next session in our live session 6. And we will post the link to the next event soon, so do keep your eyes on our event page. We'll be posting a lot of content on that. We do have a blog posted on that as well. So we can wrap up for today, I think. Do you guys have anything to say? Kashia, Ramau, anything? Do you want to add
Just
anything?
thank you for attending.
Thank you everyone. Thanks Kashia, thanks Ramau.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Take care. Bye bye. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.